Okay, well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for another match from the Dota 2 Romania Spring Cup ticket. This time, I'm gonna stick with NWA here, all right? Because I'm a politically correct caster here, like 99% of the time. So NWA against Imposing Gaming. I'm solo casting this time. Actually, haven't done that in a while. There's been an awful lot of casting action going on, and a lot of great people wanting to get involved in the wave casting. But here we go. It's as I said, NWA against Imposing, and it's a Nyx ban and an Invoker first up from both sides. The Nyx ban actually hasn't been that common frequently, as far as I've seen, but the Invoker ban, I mean, banned or picked up, I think, in about 95% of games within the first 4 bans and picks, kind of thing. I actually just saw a game where an Ember Spirit did a very, very good job, almost keeping X Gaming in against UWBEATS. But UWBEATS had Naga Siren, who was the other ban that we've just seen come out, and set up for some amazing disruptor-oriented team fights. So I think both very, very strong bans there. It doesn't surprise me, the ones we've seen. Nyx, I think, not the scariest. I think there are other heroes they could ban that would be slightly scarier, but c'est la vie. The AA pickup is just amazing. It shuts down a lot of aggressive tri-lane strats, which depend on being able to dive using people like Dazzle. Or other healers, but it looks like Imposing Gaming aren't going to be taking advantage, aren't going to be trying to use heals, so that's one of the utilities of AA's ult, which prevents healing. Instead, Imposing Gaming look to be going, I would expect to see a Bristleback pickup from here now. Both of these two supports working very well with Bristleback, especially in a tri-lane. Bristleback really benefiting from the Arcane Aura of Crystal Maiden, helping him get mana regen. And the slows and DOT from Venomancer just makes it absolutely messy. They can get kills so easily with they've got 100 slows, an awful lot of damage. People can't attack you back. You've got Veno wards shooting you in the face. You're poisoned. It's not pretty. It's really not pretty. NWA moving into their bonus time here for their second pickup. I think that's wise. The AA is kind of oriented against other strategies than Venomancer and Crystal Maiden. Centaur Warrunner, though, being a brilliant pickup in this situation. Not only does he have a great AoE reliable stun, and of course that wonderful speed boost to really get into lane, but also with double edge, even though he'll be taking damage, he takes the damage himself. But Venomancer and Crystal Maiden, as supports, will have much less health than he do, so he's definitely going to be able to get some kills there. And in addition, this is a very harassy lane, Venomancer, particularly if they also pick up a Bristleback. Very, very harassy. Return, basically returning the damage.
10 seconds to go.
You know, that is going to really limit the amount of harass he can get. I don't think it's going to be that effective against the Venomancer wards, which might actually end up being the main source of harass, but even so, just in terms of the stuns, the options for Stampede as soon as he hits 6, they are going to be doing very, very messy things. You're going to have to excuse me for one moment, ladies and gentlemen.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds to go. Radiant's pick. Dire's pick.
Many apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Moving straight back into the picks here, we've got a Clockwork and a Sand King pickup. Now, Sand King Centaur Warrunner, that is going to be a very, very dangerous combo. And wow, AA plus Centaur plus Sand King. That is going to be definitely going for ganks if they put those 3 in a lane together. Clockwork, very, very solid, very solid solo offlaner. Get a lot of experience. He's absolutely essential to be used correctly with his team, though. They need him to be hooking in, getting the cogs out on people, and then setting up for big ults. So they're kind of going to depend on Venomancer, Crystal Maiden, and whoever else gets picked up by Imposing. Getting in there fast enough as well, just to pop their damage off as well. It's gonna be tricky, I think. Veno and Crystal Maiden not the fastest, and a highly mobile NWA squad coming out here with Centaur and Sand King. Sand King, just as a little bit of interesting trivia, Gabe Newell's favourite character, also one of my favourite characters. So highly mobile with Blink Dagger plus Burrow. And the
Dyer's
damage
pit.
potential of Epicenter is just astounding. The only real downside for Sand King is he doesn't scale hugely well into late game. What you need to do if you want to scale him is when you start getting Caustic Finale, you can go off and get your own farm quite easily, and you can be the guy to pick up things like AC for your team, or even more supporty items. You could even pull off a Vice if necessary. But it's kind of more utility items if it gets to very late game. His Epicenter no longer does huge damage, and when BKB start coming out, he uses a lot of utility. But we're in an early game meta, I feel, at the moment, particularly with the European teams, so we shall have to see. I think there's a great deal of potential with this lineup. Centaur will run a Sand King AA. Deadly tri-lane. I do apologise for being AFK there for 1 second. It was a phone call about a job, but I have put it off because this is far more important to me. Far more important to me. Mirana being picked up there from Imposing, and I like that. It still throws a bit of a spanner in the works for NWA in terms of trying to guess what lane they need to cover. They've gone with a puck mid. Mirana could be up against that mid, or could be played safe lane carry. So interesting lineups here. They've actually could almost get away with a clockwork mid. I wouldn't think that would be the best against a puck, but it could work very well. Nature's Prophet and Lycan were the other two bands from NWA. They would have rounded off the Imposing Gaming lineup very well. Nature's Prophet adding to Venomancer's push and making it absolutely lethal. Lycan just being, I've finally been convinced on this point. Lycan just being a very good safe lane carry pickup. Imposing, by contrast, banning out Luna, Disruptor, and later Lifestealer. So, given that they are themselves teamfight oriented with Veno and CM, and they're going to be wanting to look for setups for those, they don't want to see AoE silencers, they don't want to see large AoE nukes, and they don't want people who are immune to magic. And that, I think, is a very intelligent call from them. OD being banned out by NWA as a final ban, that's obviously what they don't want to see against Puck, and they're expecting Mirana to be a side lane. Or possibly they're just hedging their bets. Either way, good call. Waiting for this final pick. Only 10 seconds of time left, but each team still has over a minute of bonus time, which is actually quite nice. The last game I cast, in fact the last, let me think, 3 games I've cast have been fraught with technical issues. Not on my side, heaven forfend. No, it was Steam. It was other casting networks. All kinds of things have gone wrong. Teams haven't been able to connect to games. I think my unproven, unresearched theory on this is that it has to do with free-to-play coming out, the Dota 2 movie. And that's just, I don't know, either they've changed something in order to facilitate that, or there's just massive traffic at the moment on Steam. Waiting quite a long time for this final pickup here from Imposing Gaming. Could be mind games though. I mean, if they've already got a solid pick in mind and they know what they're going to get, they could well be saying to themselves, well, let's run down the clock. NWA will think that we're being uncertain, think that we're not happy with our draft. Or it could be that they are genuinely not happy with their draft. So we'll have to see. One thing I would say, Clockwork Mirana is a great way to make sure you can land Mirana arrows. You know, you get the cogs off and it's pretty much guaranteed. Crystal Maiden's Frostbite is fairly good. I would have thought the duration could have been a little bit better. And they've gone for a Viper mid. I really like this. It works really well against Puck. I think underplayed hero in the top tiers because he's not interesting enough. He doesn't do enough kind of interesting, movable things. He's just pretty much damage. But in certain situations, he works absolutely amazingly. And Puck, you know, might be able to illusory orb away and all the rest of it. But if he can get low and Viper can land an ult plus a couple of Qs on him, then the DOT itself will finish off Puck. You know, Waning Rift hopefully aside, and a Morphling pickup as a final for NWA. Looks like then that they're going to have some very short range side lanes. I expect we'll be seeing Puck mid. That leaves AA and Morphling as the only ranged side laners. Morphling having very low range. I would expect we'll probably see him either solo or running with Sand King. And we do obviously have a DC here. So we'll just quickly look into that and see what's going on, and then hopefully we'll be able to run it. I'm going to take the opportunity to introduce the teams. I'm going to start with the Dire, given the Radiant aren't all here yet. Tut tut. Starting off, we have got, oh there we go, we've got Ricci on the Ancient Apparition. I also like to make a point of looking for cosmetic items, none on the AA of course. Then we have, I'm going to go for M4 here. I'm afraid I'm not familiar with this player and I don't want to try and pronounce all that, so M4 it is. And here we go, opening up the Morphling. Some decent items, but I often feel that Morphling items end up making him look slightly sillier than really cool. So sadness there. NXL, they're sitting on the Centaur War Runner. No items on him, although that looks like is that really the generic Centaur War Runner axe? Meska here on the Sand King. Oh, this could be good. Oh no, nothing too fancy. I like the tail though, and in fact I've been looking for that. I'd really like that. Maybe he'll trade with me. And edit there on the puck. Now, of course, there are now puck items out, I'm hearing. If you go for these Radiant and Dire chests that are coming out, you get an entire set in the chest, and one of them is for puck, which is just crazy. Puck should not have items. He doesn't deserve them. Down here on the Radiant, here we have Vevictus on the Clockwork. That is an awesome name. I like that. Obviously no items for Clockwork. Valve really need to be doing this. And Shello on the Viper, and of course no items for Viper. And that I think is one of the saddest things. There are so many potential cool things you could put on Viper. Spines, dripping poison, I don't even know. Down here on the tri-lane, we've got Marana, Veno, and CM, played by Vevictus again? Oh no, I see, that's just the other tag. Sorry, it's Darthy up here on the Clockwork, and down here it's Siba on the Marana. Pestis on the Venomancer, and Shanks on the CM, like the One Piece reference, if that's what that is. It seems like there's awareness on the Radiant team of that Dire Ward. Looking at the lineups, Clockwork running up against a tri-lane here. Sand King is going to be quite effective, I think, because Clockwork won't just be able to pop cogs and get away. If Sand King's clever, he'll be using Burrow Strike to get past, through, or into the cogs. Also stunning Clockwork, and that'll really hinder Clockwork's ability to just safely farm experience in that lane. I also don't think Clockwork's going to be doing much to shut down this Morphling, and the last game I cast, UWBEATS against X Gamers, kind of proved you can't let Morphling farm. Shotgun Morph is making a comeback, and that's just dangerous. And we are going to be seeing Viper against puck mids. It does look like AA is in position to go for an early mid gank. Nope, just going for top room. I think that's possibly a good choice. I very much doubt you'll be able to get much off against Viper, and he's actually gone for Nether Toxin first. That means he wants to concentrate on farm. With Poison Attack having 0 cooldown at level 1, I think it is a viable choice, because it means that from the very beginning you can start using your Q on the enemy hero, which does not attract the neutral creep. Sorry, the enemy creep aggro. He's obviously more concerned with last hits. I'm uncertain about that strategy, to be perfectly honest. He's also doing quite a lot of auto attacking, so he's going to be. I mean, I appreciate that the creep equilibrium here is already pushing against him, so auto attacking is fairly valid. But there's nothing wrong with farming under your tower. I mean, it's only slightly trickier, I find, particularly with Viper with Nether Toxin. He didn't need to auto attack there, and he would have kept the wave pushed back even more, and that would have been nice. Venomancer handling the pools down on bot lane. Meanwhile, Marana is pretty much going one-on-one against the solo laner. CM pretty much wandering around, carrying all of the Radiant wards, hasn't put any of them down yet. I'm wondering whether they are hoping to scout out the definite position of a Dire ward, or whether there's something else going on. But very strange either way. Dire having a nice ward here. It's going to be good to them to help set up these ganks, and also to spot out where the Clockwork might be lining up for a hook. But let's have a quick look at the last hits and denies. Morphling, I gotta say, kind of unsurprisingly, just getting basically total free farm. Let's see, 10 last hits. Should be. That'll be the 4th wave coming now. So 11 last hits out of a potential. I want to say 12? Something like that. It's very high percentages anyway. This Clockwork just isn't going to be able to shut him down. He's barely even going to be able to get an XP range, given that there are 2 very dangerous supports, one of whom I regard as almost a Clockwork counter. And it's going to be tricky. And yeah, Clockwork is actually just using his cogs to try and hold the creep wave back. It'll help. He certainly can't side pull, given that Dire seem to have that pretty much taken care of. But it's not going to be enough. And First Blood goes to Mirana down on bot, finishing off Centaur Warrunner. That'll be the danger here. The supports in the safe lane can just happily be pulling into the jungle, making sure that the wave is pulled nice back, and then at any point just loop round behind and suddenly get a kill. This ward that Centaur's put out for a wraparound is very, very well positioned. It'll give him all the vision right up, perfectly calculated to the edge. CK in real trouble up top. I keep saying CK, I'm not sure why. Clockwork in real trouble up top. Sand King's stun is almost off cooldown. He's going to be looking to do it from off the top of these cliffs. Oh, but he no longer has the mana. Oh, that was unfortunate. He should have been staying back and being very, very careful of those cogs. He didn't need to be chasing too fast, given that there was a corner there. He could have gone. He could pretty much just have gone right over here, walked over here, done it really slowly, being really careful. Clockwork would only have got to about this stage, and he could have just stunned down. Looks like Sand King might be heading to mid. Viper is likely to go on this puck. I know I would. Is that going to be enough damage over time? That is the question. No, it is not. I really think Shellu could have afforded taking one more hit from the tower there and really securing that kill. Item build so far heavily favouring Nether Toxin. I'm not sure about this. Nether Toxin at this stage of the game it's very useful against heroes, but for your harass against heroes, your Q is better. Nether Toxin's main use is it's going to make him very, very easy for him to farm. I mean, he's doing currently, what is that, 76 damage with a potential max bonus of 120 when the creep is low. So last hitting for him right now should be the easiest thing in the world. But he's not even leading the charts, and it's just not necessary on Viper, especially against a puck whose damage. Have a quick look. 70 plus 3. Well, I mean that is fairly high, but with even 1 point in Nether Toxin, Viper could be doing more than that. Push going on top though. Clockwork going to be taking a lot of harass. The problem is, Dire are now at the stage where when they're doing a push like this, where Clockwork has his best opportunity to get last hits, they're actually managing to force him even further back and give him serious harass problems. Viper goes down to puck in the mid.
Strange time to hibernate.
Not hugely surprising to me, to be honest. What's surprising is that happened even with the Veno up there to try and help out with the gank. That must have been excellently played by Puck, and I'm very, very sorry I missed it. Can I have a quick look at the final items here and check up on a couple of things? Bumper bum bum. Bumper bum bum. Excellent, there we go. So Mirana picking up Phase Boots and Ring of Aquila. That's fairly standard, I think, on Mirana, and I very much doubt she's still got it turned on. Nope, turned off. Good job. Viper also picking up Aquila. Before Boots, I really find that to be a very strange call again. The mana there isn't that important for Viper, especially when you haven't been leveling your Q, so you shouldn't really be spamming it too much. Whereas he's one of the slowest heroes in the game at 285 movement speed, so he really needs a pair of boots. I have to say, in the interest of not just trying to be a fanboy and oh my god, these guys are amazing whenever I cast a match, this Viper I probably feel most able to criticize, and I'm not too impressed, I have to admit. The other really strange thing about this Aquila pickup on Viper is, okay, the armor is useful, but you could just get the ring if you really thought you needed that armor, and I really don't think he does. But as for the mana, in addition to what I just said about not spamming the Q since he hasn't leveled it, there's also a CM on the team. Puck here is going to spot out an attempt to gank bot by the Radiant supports on Veno and CM. Sand King getting this is kind of what I was talking about. This is how Sand King secures his own farm early in the game. He just uses Sandstorm to farm the jungle. It's a little bit slow, but it's very reliable. Later in the game, once it's really just a question of him roaming around trying to help out with ganks and grab farm where he can, you get Caustic Finale, and then you can quite easily finish off a creep wave or something else. And I'm looking forward to this. I really am. It's Ricci, and Meska on AA and Sand King, looking to gank this Clockwork. Unfortunately, they timed this slightly badly. Morphling's now in a position of really having to aggressively push the wave, which will be quite obvious, in order to get this back into a position where they can really do something. Plus, smoke is going to wear out, I think. Yep, there it is. Before anything useful, so they're going to be spotted out by this next creep wave. Sand King going to take a ton of harass here. Coming in for the stun, manages to land it off. Morphling pushing the lane up really just in time. But we've got a rotation coming in from Mirana. Morphling's out. Mirana potentially actually in over her head. Oh no, the NWA hero is too low to really to capitalize on that. But Clockwork for Sand King, definitely in favor of NWA. Mirana though still chasing down AA. Stampede is popped to try and help him get away, but a good arrow here would secure the kill. Not enough mana for arrow. Centaur Warrunner actually popping that Stampede, possibly to try and finish off that Venomancer. Interesting choice. CM here, Shanks moving up, wants to shank Ricci. Going the wrong way, unfortunately. Oh, that is so unfortunate. If he'd waited, if he'd been 2 seconds later in that chase, it would have been daytime when he was close to AA, and he would have spotted him. But it was just on the cusp, and AA was just out of vision. Really, that is too unlucky. I can barely believe it. Puck here, smoked up, picks up a haste rune. That's going to be potentially massive problems for this Clockwork, who's finally trying to get some safe farm down bot. Puck, however, good kill by Morphling there on the Mirana. That's good. That's a significant kill. Heavy carry on heavy carry. A lot of XP for the Morphling. And here comes Puck. He's moving in on the Viper, but the Mirana ult has just been popped. Viper knows he can afford to get some harass here, and an excellent phase shift to avoid any hint of the Viper harass, which I like. But I mean, look at this Viper. He's got a mana item, and has there been any mana problems at any stage in this game for him? Like, Aquila is something I often think Viper shouldn't get at all, because by the time you really start to have mana problems, it's just not a very good item. I do still sometimes get it, because sometimes you have big mana problems. Metamorphosis, who I was casting with in the last game, occasionally likes to play Cotton mid against my Viper, which is interesting if nothing else, but mana can be a definite problem there. Shanks is I was going to say, Sand King's easily going to stop that TP. He can go straight under those trees as soon as they secure vision. Clockwork Flare coming up, hits the Sand King in the AA. The Puck ult goes down. Mirana looking really low and silenced, so she can't leap. Veno coming in, I think, probably over aggressively there, and gets absolutely shut down. Now we have Clockwork and Viper trying to hold the fort, and I think they'll be able to. The NWA support on Sand King just looking a little bit too low. Not a good idea for them to rush in there, but they were able to fight off NWA. This game though beginning to look a little bit one-sided so far. NWA now 4,000 XP ahead, 2,000 gold. This is big stuff. This is big stuff. Real moves being made. Mirana headed back up top, pops off the arrow, almost hits Morphling. Clockwork looking for a cogs there, I suppose. Perhaps I'm just missing what he was attempting to do there.
Boom, there it goes.
Yeah, let's say I'm just missing what he was attempting to do. That seems fair.
Bottom tower is being attacked.
Big rotation here by imposing. All 5 heroes coming up to the top lane. Not a single tower down, and Centaur there basically just having a stomp on the bottom tower. Looks like imposing are deciding to take this in exchange rather than contest, which I think is a strange choice. At least with all 5 heroes. I mean, there's only Centaur down there. They could quite easily send really any one of their heroes down there, and it would be enough to keep Centaur off the tower. Mirana arrow misses there on Sand King, not pushed out quite fast enough. And now imposing actually backing off against 3 dire heroes, but not rotating anybody bottom to deal with the one Centaur who's actually stands a fair chance of getting the tower down. Morphling being very aggressive there. I don't think it really pays to do that when you're 3 on 5. Beautiful Mirana arrow goes through the trees, lands on AA. A very strange time for the Mirana ult though, given that they're going to be spending pretty much 99% of this time under the tower. Centaur TP's up, and suddenly imposing are on the run. They were in a position there to defend their own tower, and should have had an easy time taking this one.
Radiant's bottom
Landed a
tower
nice
is
arrow
under
to start it
siege.
off, but then everything just fell apart. Excellent TP there from Centaur. And now Crystal Maiden also finished off, and Morphling just racking up the kills. 5 for nothing, 3 assists. That is not the kind of farm you want to see on a Morphling. Beautiful Mirana arrow there is going to mean that Venomancer has absolutely no problem getting out. But this is a crazy game. Let's have a look. See, the items really not going too well in favor of imposing here. Sand King's managed to get his mana boots up on the NWA side, and is a quarter of the way towards his Blink Dagger, so he's going to be becoming very, very scary. Meska, I am counting on you to represent with Sand King. But if we look over on the Radiant, pretty much equivalent items on the 2 carries. Clockwork with his bottle looking to be building into power treads, but the rest really nothing to shout about. They've got wards up, and Venomancer is gradually building towards mech, but pretty much nothing else other than TP scrolls and boots.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Which isn't where you want to be. Which is not where you want to be, even as a support. Let's have a quick look at the XP per minute here. Yeah, the Dire have 3 heroes in the top 3. The supports are doing a wonderful job not eating up the lane XP, which is why... Oh, here we go. Goodbye, ye pesties. I mean, that was just so quick, it was ridiculous. Spotted out by a Veno ward, but they already knew they were there. It doesn't really add anything, but the slow is proving quite inconvenient to that Centaur War Runner. Flare coming up to top. There is an initiation going in here on the Viper. Looks like they're going to finish him off without too much trouble. Sand King, though, using his Sandstorm to avoid harass, but taking a Gale to the face.
Radiant's top tower
He's fine.
is under
Manages to get out
siege.
just in time. And the Radiant top tower also taking a great deal of harass. Radiant really need to make a play here to try and get something going. It seems like the play that is being made is they're going to try and hold out long enough for Mirana to get a Midas, and then really try and do something with that. Morphling way into Radiant positions there. Finishes off Venomancer. Up against a Battery Assault Clockwork, who's just going to nuke him with all the damage he has, calling for support, and Mirana Arrow finishes off the kill. Now we've got Puck possibly out of position, and he was coming in to help, but now that the kill's been executed, he's got to get out. But of course, Puck, one of the slipperiest heroes in the game, has already got a Blink Dagger, and so is out of there.
Radiant has fortified its structures.
I mean, it does seem to me a little bit though like the only real plan going on at the moment on the imposing side is to try and get a Midas up on Mirana, which admittedly she did just get the gold for. But at 15 minutes, I doubt that was their plan from the beginning, given that we've seen Aquila and Phase Boots come up first, and it's not. It might even work, given that NWA haven't been as quick as they could be in pushing down towers. And if Mirana can get the farm, then that'll be amazing. But I don't think it would be enough by itself anyway, given that she's running up against a very heavily farming Morph. Oh dear, here we go. The initiation on the Mirana. The Sand King stuns. Oh, but Centaur went for a double edge there rather than a... Sand King pops his ult. It's premature. He was hoping there to just catch people in the AoE, but I think that ended up just being very, very unfortunate. And he's not going to be able to get out. Clockwork being able to stun him out of the TP there. So not a very good initiation. Centaur also went for double edge rather than his stun on Mirana. I think it would have been interrupted either way, but I don't think double edge would have been enough damage to secure the kill. So the stun might have been more effective. Morphling though finishing off Viper mid. So I'm not going to say that totally evens the playing field, but imposing not being able to just get clear victories in this game so far. It's always something for something, which isn't what you want. NWA also putting up incredibly aggressive wards now. Looks like top is going to be their next target based on the entrances that they're trying to cover. This ward giving absolutely unparalleled vision. If they had this and one somewhere down on this cliff, then they would be able to push top with impunity, knowing exactly what was going to come in. Other, of course, in the Mirana ult, in case everybody goes invisible, but that's still Centaur here just deciding that, you know what, this jungle is my jungle. One of the creeps there actually died to return damage, which I find quite interesting. Puck here jumping on the Mirana. A lot of damage. The silence is preventing the leap. Puck has a haste rune, trying to decide which way to go. Not going to be able to make the decision quick enough, and by now CM's rotated in and is ready to jump on any kind of pursuit. Puck wants to go for it though, he's still got this haste rune. There's the illusory orb, there's the kill. Beautiful, beautiful job. And jumps to the illusory orb in order to get out. That was very, very good play. I'm wondering whether he was confused a little bit and wasn't sure which way to go, or whether he was just trying to burn time. And now a big push being made on the Sand King. Sorry, on the Venomancer. Very, very aggressive there. Not entirely sure that was the best thing he could have gone for in that situation, but there we go. And Top Wave still pushed out for NWA. I mean, if you look at the map, NWA are farming 3/4 of it very, very easily, and that includes like 90% of the Radiant jungle. I mean, where are Imposing gonna get their farm from? I can't see it. They've got the occasional wave coming in top, but you know they can only farm that because it's getting so close. Shelu there deciding to go in on the Morphling, getting a little bit of damage on, but when he morphs to strength, he's just so damn tanky. Let's see if I like what Shelu's done now. Gone for magic resistance. Could be trying to build into a pipe or something like that, which would be very useful for the team and would help protect against the potential of shotgun morph. But it's not how I build Viper, let me say that. I like to get your damage items, because the entire point is to get people low, and then suddenly you can come in and do ridiculous damage because of Nether Toxin. Beautiful, beautiful hook there coming out from Sand King. The Mirana ult is popped. Again, I'm not entirely sure why, given that Sand King was already using Sandstorm to become invisible. Perhaps it was just an instinctive teammate is getting ganked. Morphling just going to rush this top tower. They don't have the presence here to stop him, and meanwhile his team are actually winning team fights on the mid lane. Epicenter's going off and doing a whole ton of damage. Mirana desperately trying to see if she can give her team any kind of cover, but now Morphling's taking the tower and will be heading in for the cutoff. CM unfortunately going to run straight into him, pops her ult in order to try and get some damage off, and almost finishes off the AA. Sand King a little bit slow on the stun there, but AA does survive, so not too slow, not bad. And possibly it was on cooldown. Now the CM and Viper down, top tower's just gone down, and rather than having to back off and heal up, I think NWA were actually in a position there where they could certainly push this tower. Looks like they are going to try at least get some damage on here. Veno, of course, being one of the most annoying people to push against, so perhaps they'll decide not to. Now perhaps it'd be the time to Roche, depending on what Centaur and Morphling are up to. If they're busy elsewhere, then possibly not, because there's no way Puck, Sand King and AA are going to be able to do it. Yeah, Radiant need to be getting more wards up. They need to de-ward their own jungle and their own areas. Here we go. We see this this ward coming up now. Not as useful for the top push, but obviously the top push is over, and very, very useful for the push on this middle tower. One of the things I love in watching pro games is the ward positioning, because you don't just see kind of generic. The habit you see people get into in pub games is they learn some ward positions and they're really good, and they do them all the time. And then they learn some more ward positions and they think they're really good, and so they do them all the time. And suddenly they're doing totally different wards all the time. What you need to be doing is all wards are situational, like literally every single ward. You know, wards here are generally good at the good game, or if you want to watch Roshan. Wards here are good if you want to be making sure that nobody's ganking the Radiant jungle. This ward is amazing for Dire. And when you see wards like this which are linked to what the team is currently trying to do, for example this one and this one are great setups for a push on this mid tower. The only other one they would really need is another one up here. It's playmaking wards. It's wards that are doing more than just giving you vision. They're giving the vision you need. Big shout out there. So we got Centaur, Puck and Sand King looking like they want to have a go on Roshan. I'm certain they're going to be able to do this. I'm not sure what the strategy is here, like whether they're thinking that the damage return is going to be enough, whether they think they've just got enough space to bash at it for 3 minutes, because they probably do. Okay, here comes Morphling. Right, now it makes sense. But I mean, Centaur now, Centaur and Sanking now practically dead because they decided to start that. Oh, and Sanking might actually die if there are many more. Oh, that was hilarious. Roshan stuns, OP. Most annoying thing about Roshan is if you're playing as Spirit Breaker and you're executing a charge across the map, be very careful, because if you go through Roshan, he will aggro you and he might stun you. So I imagine that went straight to Morphling. Yes, it did. He's picked up his E-Blade. It's Shotgun Morph, everybody. Shotgun Morph. That is going to be so scary. Takes 2 times your primary attribute plus 75 as damage. You're looking at Morphling, who can move all of his strength points into his primary attribute. It's just terrifying, and that's over and above the fact that they go into ethereal form, which means they take amplified magic damage, and adaptive strike. Now I'm not the pro Morphling player that other people are, but adaptive strike also is damage based, I think. Maximum damage and minimum stun. Damage max 2. Yeah, it's damage max 2 points per point of agility. So if you're fully hyped up to an agility Morphling, and you first of all E-Blade them, that's double your agility plus 75, and then adaptive strike through them, which at level 4, if you are fully morphed up to agility, is also again double your agility. That's why we're seeing the butterfly pickup. In addition to finishing off the E-Blade, it's a wonderful stack of agility. And I wouldn't be surprised if the next item for Morphling was going to be a heart. Being able to switch between strength and agility, he can pick up the heart and almost use it like like an eagle song when necessary, because he just has to turn that extra strength into extra agility.
Radiant's middle tower is under siege.
The passive health regen though is very, very useful. Plus it does just give you as well a flat increase to your health pool. Morphing right in. There's a stun. Is Centaur going to get a double stump off? No, only one. I think he could have got a double there, but he missed it. SK now playing with Clockwork. Dangerous game to play though. There's the stun, and he manages to get up to the cliff as well, and he can de-ward there. Now Clockwork the one in trouble, but do they have detection? His stun is not enough to finish off Centaur, but Waveform is enough to finish off Clockwork, and that's 4 down in exchange for 1 NWA support. This isn't looking good, gentlemen. This is not looking good for imposing. It's 8-24, 300% of the imposing kills on NWA. Oh, and there it is, Shotgun Morph again. Hits with the adaptive, hits with the E-Blade, followed by adaptive strike. Just deadly, just absolutely deadly. You can take out a support in a flash, as you just saw. This ward actually, it is a great ward. Unfortunately, it's been sadly redundant because imposing have been forced back even further than that. But that's not a real criticism. Still a very good call. Rana here has got her Yasha up in addition to that Midas she got earlier. Puck here, sitting on top of the cliff. He's got a DD rune bottled, so I think he's thinking that pretty much anywhere where a fight happens, he's going to be able to jump in. I think what they're probably trying to do is use Morphling as bait to try and get the Radiant heroes to come into this area of the jungle. But that didn't seem to work, so Puck's come out and is now looking to possibly initiate. AA is trying to draw attention to the fact that the top lane is still very, very pushed out. But I honestly think that Dire should just be pushing now, although Killer Morana can't hurt, and there's really not much she can do about it. She's shackled down, and Leap is her only real escape at this stage. Morphling going fully aggressive against the Radiant team. Lots of stuns coming out though. And why was that a good call from him? Because he has, first of all, Replicate, which I assume is how he got out. Yep, there it is. Also, he still has Aegis.
Radiant's bottom tower has been
So
destroyed.
when he disappeared there, at first I did think that the Aegis had been popped, and I was waiting on the respawn, but nope. Replicate makes you a copy of a hero. You can send it off wherever you want, and at any time you can switch positions with it, or move to its position rather, which is just ridiculous, really. I mean, it means that to kill Morphling, you need to have him stunned or silenced literally the entire time. If he gets low, then he'll morph out. It doesn't even take much cast time. It's not like he's got to stand still and not be interrupted.
Great teamwork.
There's a godlike streak for Morphling. 15 for 1, 4 assists. So not only has he been getting the kills, but a massive shout out to his team as well for making sure that he is the one to get them. And now it's just shotgun morph all over the place. He's backing out. He doesn't need to with that Aegis. Clockwork coming in, trying to save a Mirana, who was actually quite happy to get out by herself. Sand does get taken out though, but Viper now the only hero left on the Radiant side, and a Gem of True Sight's been called out. I missed where, but I think we're past the stage where Gem of True Sight really matters. Morphling now picks up Scuddy. Could well be on the basis of just trying to get some awesome items. Awesome attack animations. And the GG call gets made, and good luck called out by Shello, which I think is nice. Again, there have been some Steam and connection issues on behalf of pretty much everybody involved with Dota in the last couple of days. So I'm not going to be able to guarantee that there is another match coming on immediately, but there may well be one. I will of course be posting on Twitter as soon as I start streaming, if I do again. So please, anybody watching, thank you so much for your support. I hope you've enjoyed this. I do also appreciate any constructive criticism, and of course any subscriptions are also hugely welcome. But if this is the last time I cast tonight, good luck, good job, well played, etc. And yeah, see you on the flip side.